I just heard a tree crack. I'm going to do my best to play beneath the crickets. I know I'm right up next to it, so it's kind of tricky, but bear with me. Let's pick a mode for them. Alright, I'm going to put you all in my pocket for a minute, and then we're going to go in the basement so that I don't have to worry about like bears and stuff. So you're going to go in my pocket. Give me like a few minutes, we'll jam the electric downstairs, as in the electric guitar. Where's a good spot for y'all? 2 will take place down here once we've got this place lit and I ensure that my fire is going. I'm broadcasting at you live from Canada. It's still kind of pretty cold up here. Jacket weather at nighttime, that's for sure. So, what I'm gonna do is check on that fire here in just a moment. Then we're gonna get this room lit up in a different color, different tone, different texture. I've got my electric guitar amp I've got my electric guitar amp out tonight, everybody. I don't normally pick that over the acoustic because that takes a lot less time to get ready and going than that. But on that note, I get the fire going as I said. And I might put on a song or two just so I can get in a stretch and see how these can move. Just in the middle of doing laundry here. I'll get your numbers, everybody, for the number lovers. Here we go. So some say that this might all very well be a dream. And I say, if so, then why is everything built upon math? Are we perhaps in the illusion of a dream? Are we perhaps AI ourselves? The sun is said to be in Gemini, moon in Scorpio, plundering our darkness, putting it to use, falling deeper into the dream while believing we're ascending higher and higher. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. But I'm grateful that we're being and doing rather than only being. I find consistency works best with everything and anything that you want to learn and become good at. And again, if this is a dream or even a simulation, there is a level of genius to all of this. And not the fake genius that I heard a news report on. They were trying to say this 3-year-old has an IQ of above 160. And they said she was fluent in more than one language. But whenever the camera was listening to people or recording people talking, it was usually the adults. And when she would speak, the 3-year-old so-called genius, she would say like one word. One word. I'm pretty sure that was fake news. I think we all have genius potential, but I really don't think we can score above 160 on an IQ test at the age of 3. There's another amazing thing about this reality. We can actually discern. We don't fully know while simultaneously knowing, in a sense. We can critically think here, we can feel, we can experience. It might seem like a merry-go-round sometimes, but like the craziest fucking amusement park ride ever other times. One where there's a potential chance of death, per se. Let's say this is a special amusement park, and every so many rides, or maybe it's set to random, the track will change direction and drive the passengers to their death. I'm not trying to manifest that in my dream world, my consciousness, my reality, whatever this all may be. It's all really interesting and fun to me. And it's consistent. Like, look how real this fire is. Don't give up on your fire and your passions, everybody. Be consistent. That's what makes the biggest difference of all. Even if you might have ate a bunch of junk food recently like I did, it doesn't mean you have to keep eating junk food. I know it's more affordable than the organic food. You can thank our dystopian masters for that. That's more the business's faults than the politicians, as far as I understand, though, in terms of like food pricing. That's less of a government doing and more of capitalist people. I don't hate capitalism. I think there's good and bad in every ism. If capitalism's going to survive, it's going to have to help protect its creators, whether they're broadcasting and creating, or maybe they're innovating or inventing. Whatever it may be, I think it's good for all of humanity. If we didn't have to worry about identity theft, nor like stalking, nor being targeted for execution, if we were to share any sort of inventions or innovations or just broadcasts of any sort, etc. Okay, I'm just gonna let that cook on its own. I don't really need a big fire because it's not super cold, but it is Canada and it is cold. Jacket weather at night. Been living most my life living in this fucking paradise. Spend most my life living in this fucking paradise. Ah! Did we get it? There we are. It didn't kill me, everybody. It's not my time yet. Not yet. Seasons don't fear the reaper, nor do the wind, the sun, and the rain. We can be like they are. I do like these colors. I wonder how that's coming across on the ceiling. I tried it on the floor earlier, but it wasn't a hard sell for me. So here we are, back on the amp, a little lower this time. Maybe it's cool up here too, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to judge it when I review the stream. It might be better up top, but there we go. This is my favorite combination with this so far. I'll be getting my electric guitar out in just a moment. Oh no, where did I put that? There it is. It is currently exactly the first 100th hour, Friday, May 29th, 2026, Scorpio moon, so-called Gemini sun. It could very well be Sagittarius, I don't know. I question everything all of the time. It's cold out. It is now 1:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm about to jam some more guitar. I just was outside. Thought I'd do like a mini sort of sequel Act 1 and Act 2. I was going to stay out for longer, but I don't want to get distracted in what I'm doing. And perhaps like a bear or some other kind of animal just shows up. Perhaps a gang-stalking human. It'll take me some time to get my amp set up. So actually I'm going to move this first, and I'm going to take a look behind the scenes to see where you're angled. I'll get that established and then get the amp going. I'm a one-man talent and production team here, everybody. I got to give TikTok and YouTube and whatever else credit for giving us the platforms to do this from, but I assure you it's just me, myself, and God here, and possibly some other esoteric spirits, as far as I understand. Who knows, who knows. Merrily, merrily, merrily. Maybe life's but a dream. Ugh. So I'm going to check that out after I get this up. And I'm going to line my floor so I can figure out the borders. I reviewed my stream from earlier. I'll probably post it, repost it. I might even create another new channel, and I'll be sure to announce its name on both my YouTube and TikTok accounts, excuse me, along with I suppose my Instagram. You are watching live right here, right now. A real dude, really streaming, really doing all the things, you know, even some singing. I just need a candle. And then we'll see if you can handle how real this real dude is, who is also streaming. They're gonna have, you know, if I ever get met with like a movie offer or something, especially after I finished my book, which I'm still working on. I spent like an hour on it earlier today. I'm not in a rush to finish it. It's teaching me a lot. I'm enjoying the process of it. Oh my God, don't burn the ball. All right, I forgot about this. I might set this up sometime, do some jabs on screen. Like these tools, they can be pretty fun, you know. It doesn't take much, you just gotta play with it. You gotta be like, hey, you know, you remember that thing we used to do when we were kids and kind of when we were teenagers? Have fun? Yes. Get relaxed, take care of yourself, free yourself to have fun. It's okay. You don't have to sit with your arms at your sides, nor stand with your arms at your side. You could totally get into your body. You could dance with it. You could skateboard with it. You could do a whole bunch of great stuff with it. And if you actually use it, you get in it, you move it, you're gonna feel so much better. So much better, that you might be able to actually tap into that energy, your inner child, your inner teenager, whenever the last time was that you genuinely had fun. Though I understand that the color scheme is pretty decent in here, I would recommend just putting your screens down, or if you're watching from a television, then look away from it and simply listen. Simply listen. I do plan to vlog and also to practice guitar. Kind of just the usual thing I do when I stream with my instruments. So that might be better up there, but here actually, let's take a peek through to the back door up there. I imagine it's better with the usual spot that I place it in. Ugh. Actually, you know, that's not bad. I wonder what the moon would look like atop that, or maybe I should just leave it. I think I'm gonna leave it for now. I'm only intending on streaming for about an hour. That's another reason why I didn't spend so much time outside. Before I decided to do everything, right down to the pants I've chosen to wear. I rolled a 5, a 4, and a 5. Let's see, let's do one more right in front of you this time. There goes 1. What have we got here? It wasn't actually 1, or I don't know, it could be. It was 1. The first one was 1. We've got 4. Get your bingo cards out, everybody. This is some hot, quick money. Here we go. What's it going to be? What's it going to be? Is it going to be a palindrome? Or is it going to be something else? We can't exactly get it straight because we need 2 more dice to do that. 2 more die. That would be the singular version. Yes. Okay, there. I'm just going to throw it rather than wait for it to fly. We got a 5. We got a 1, 4, and a 5. Do I have any winners? Okay, get your quarter, whatever the fuck tickets. I've never really played bingo, but I've worked one as a volunteer before. Here we go. Is it going to be the beaver, or is it going to be the boat? Or is it going to be the moose or the bear, everybody? Who's going to win here? We got a bear. We got a bear. Anybody got a bear? Okay. All right. All right. Here we go. Second one up. We got the beaver, everybody. Be wise. Don't dilly-dally. The hibernation time is over. No more excuses, northerners. Let's get that winter fat off. I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I'm down a waist size or 2. And I think my ding-ding got a little bit bigger. Okay. So what do we got here? Oh, we got the heads. So maybe that means hold on before I play guitar. Maybe. I should just align everything and ensure that it is what it is. Touch in the candlelight, breathe in the flame of life, and your spell is alive. Look in the candlelight, see in the flame of life, and your spell is alive. We got a 4. Hashtag sleeping in the fire. Wasp. It is 1:10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hoping everybody's enjoying their so-called weekend. I hope you're choosing to strengthen yourself on the week and the weekend. I know I was young once too, but it feels a lot better to have energy than to be hungover and or like strung out or whatever the fuck. I'm gonna do down here tonight this. Maybe if I move the moose lamp, electrocuted. Be safe, everybody. Be safe. I might dock some gangstalking notes from earlier today and so forth. But I think I'm just going to jam for the most part and maybe remind future me just to make a voice memo journal and physically write out what's up. And also note that one of the email accounts seems to have been compromised. That's right. My gang stalkers don't just stalk me, they fuck with my emails, my Amazon, other areas of my life. Maybe this all acts to help keep me stuck in the dream of life. Hopefully we don't need to reach lawlessness to keep me a slumber. That reminds me of a Bullet for My Valentine song. How does that go again? Waking the Demon. They made an awesome music video for that. I was just checking out a bunch of live screamer bands on this YouTube channel I found. I think it's Vivo TV, so 2 V's, Evo TV. I'm not going to openly criticize anyone because I know it's a learning process, especially with bringing different and newer type of mixes to the stage. But I'm grateful as fuck that channel exists because the artists and the performers, they're actually playing their instruments. They're not lip syncing, they're not pantomiming that they're playing an instrument. They're really doing it. And with really doing it comes really having to learn the acoustics of the room, taking the time with your band to ensure that you all understand how to balance the mix so it doesn't sound like it's all over the place and messy, and especially if you're charging a lot of money for people to go to your shows. Those are things that you want to pay attention to. Because then you'll get to continue playing those types of shows. It might be understandable if someone was just miscalculating, say because it sounds different when there's bodies in the room versus not. But it's a whole other when everybody's skipping sound check to go get drunk or high. If you're on my ship, you're going to get an ass whooping. Anyway, so the lyric from that song, what was it? It's when they break down into the slower sort of melodic part, like melody oriented. Don't wake me from this slumber. I might have to listen to it again. That wasn't one of the bands that I heard, but I was thinking about that because I've recently watched Twilight again. Werewolves, vampires. I don't know if they had any hybrids in there. I'll have to sit and think. I don't think so. I know that Renesmee technically is a hybrid, but I was talking or thinking of werewolf vampire hybrids, kind of like an underworld. Do they call them a lichen? I think that's what they call them. 1:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think I'm going to put on a song or two perhaps, just as I get my amp set up. This will help fill the space while I warm up my voice, stretch out my body and such. Oh, that's the other thing too. If you're going to play a show, don't just show up for sound check and don't just know your mix and how to project it. Really know it, record it and review it. And the day of, you want to get up early. Hopefully it's not an early morning show, but if you can, get up several hours before it. Do some movements. some breathing. Maybe you go over your plan or create a plan for the day. Eat healthy, eat right, eat on schedule so that you can poop on schedule. So you don't want to have to poop when you're on stage. If you challenge yourself, not only with routine, but with growth, and you fill your body with good foods, you're going to feel a lot less anxious about something like that, like performing, than if you woke up and you doom scrolled, you drank coffee, you ate donuts, shitty food, and you listened to a bunch of negative content or feedback, whatever. Everything affects everything. I hope at the very least, if and when I do leave this world soon, if that does happen, that at least my words might help at least one other person. If not more, like more is always going to be better, right? But if you're young or you're old or you're new to being on stage with your band members, you got to take the time to be professionals. Okay, please do that. It's one thing when you're young and you're going through the learning process. As you get older, it's less forgivable, so please take the time to ensure that your sound is in fact checked. Just show up to do it, even if you don't get it perfect. Right? You don't want to prepare yourself for the stage by spending time drinking away your anxiety. That's going to be the worst thing for it. Sometimes it might work out for your benefit, but most of the time that's going to work against you. That's going to amplify the issue. And then you might even develop a schism because you'll be relying on feedback from groupies who want to take your money and maybe your seeds. Maybe that's a noble groupie thing to do, to want to single mother your father or your children. I mean, well, hopefully, hopefully they can attract a partner too. But there's a danger in that as well. The biological parents are always going to be more prone to protecting the children rather than acting like they want to do it just so they can impress the mate or the person they're trying to manipulate. Who knows, maybe they're a target of gang stalking operations and it's a honeypot, etc. So what's coming up here on deck? I'm going to put on a little bit of music, like I've said, and warm up my voice. Going to get my amp turned on, dialed in. I might end up turning off that rotating feature on the projector because that sound is just it's not doing it for me, and it might throw me off key at times. I noticed that more so lately because the furnace isn't always activating as often. But if I'm singing a song that's kind of dissonant in its intervallic distance to the pitch that the activation sounds of the furnace are producing, then it can make it sound like I'm doing it wrong when actually I'm just not in a favorable harmony with the sound of that there furnace. All right. It doesn't seem like I've been flagged yet. The flags may have been reducing. Normally my streams get flagged. And then I get punished by having things taken away. It hasn't happened tonight, and it didn't happen earlier when I streamed. I'll probably post that one. I was talking about foraging and some other stuff. Oh my god, I hope this isn't a sign. It's a song. I'm going to have to listen to it later. I'll turn it down. It says, "For you, I'll pull the trigger." It's either a cover or an original by Aaron Terrapin 1 on YouTube. It's got a really cool guitar. It's got maple leaf inlays. Yep, society is becoming more and more aggressive, and I think it was all by design. Like, it's gotten really dystopic too. Most people were raised in very neglectful environments, and a lot of us are malnourished. We're lacking minerals, nutrients, qualitative family time. You got a bunch of burnt out teachers running on caffeine, just contributing to the distortion. And I know they try, but how can they try when they've got to teach 30 heads or 20 something heads? I do believe in smaller class sizes being mostly better, but I think the mix of both large and smaller classes would be optimal. Quick other side note, I heard that the public health industry is what I'm going to call them, are seeking more government dollars. And I'm thinking, you know what, if they want that, they should start treating all of the public equally. And then maybe they can have more money. But until then, I say fuck them. You know, they shouldn't be operating 12 hours at a time there anyway. I don't mean like as a surgeon, I mean as any of the workers in the hospital. The fact of the matter is humans are overworked, underrested, malnourished, and we were raised in copious amounts of neglect, and it shows. It does, and I'm not trying to guilt anyone, but for something like a healthcare worker, they should be the epitome of health. You shouldn't be able to work in there unless you are a shining model of a healthy avatar, inside and out. So not just the body either, but your emotional regulation, your mental, let's say, computation. I don't know. I'm not saying you have to be the smartest to be a doctor, but you should be open to learning, which smart people, and I guess whatever's beyond smart, would be guilty of doing. That's the trick, and it's not a trick. You just got to continue exercising your mind. It gets stronger the more you use it, especially when you balance rest and action. Oh, and if you free yourself from distortion, like we get from the frequencies of all the radio broadcast signals, the internet, things like that. Stuff that's polluting our skies, our crops, our foods. Like I said, junk food. Junk food is cheaper than healthy food. So what's up with that? Here's my current YouTube channel. I might make another channel soon, but I'll probably keep on these ones as well. I'm named as Northern Light on TikTok here. This is my YouTube page, however. Paul Harris, Light Striker. I'll be sure to inform everyone of my new channel when and if I should launch it. But I was thinking in alignment with the project that I suggested doing earlier. I kind of hinted at it. I was thinking it might be best to have a whole nother page and maybe be wise about how I run it, like maybe do it from an older computer type system. Things like that can help gatekeep my account from being compromised. Oh, AI summarized. Let's see what AI says. A musician discusses performance tips and channeling his voice. Share your advice. Throwing your voice is a very fun exercise. Oh, one other thing. I know that a lot of musicians, performing musicians might hate me for this, but I don't care. I just listened to a bunch of legitimately live performances. And I'm saying if it's a big enough venue, or hell, even if it's any size of venue, automatic tuning guitars should be okay. I'm getting tired of hearing guitars that are out of tune, basses that are out of tune. The keyboard is automatically in tune, so why the fuck can't the rest of us be? Like, it really stands out when it's out. Okay, just like if the drummer's offbeat, that would stand out quite a bit to people. Thank goodness the singers were bringing it there. That's a weird thing, and it makes you realize that singers are usually singing from memory as opposed to emotion in the moment. So it could be emotion over the past, but it's not in the moment, because when they're singing, they're still singing in the proper pitch, whilst one or more of the other instruments might be out of tune. Yet they're still right on there, so they know. And that means that they're using their muscle memory. They could be implementing emotion for the moment, but it most likely is something tied to the whatever they have connected with the lyrics of that song. That's the other thing too. Emotional regulation is important with performing, because if you don't know how to acknowledge where you're at on the sphere of emotions, then you might ignore your body's signals to not say, for example, push when you shouldn't be pushing, and then thus injuring your voice, or maybe even twisting your back because you're rocking out. Like, I've seen a lot of great stage presence on there, but to the same token, some that didn't really flow, and I'm talking about WASPNationOfficial TV on YouTube. I love seeing energy, but what I love seeing more than energy and movement on stage with musical performances is chemistry. Right? So it's not like everybody's doing their own fucking thing. They're like, the show is mine. It is mine. No, it's mine. You know, when you don't have that sort of sense of competitiveness, when it's more so in alignment, where they've got a flow, it doesn't necessarily have to be programmed down to like the math of every fucking movement. But I want to know that these guys are comfortable with each other, or whoever's in the band. I want to know that they're comfortable with each other, that they can flow together, that they can look good together and sound good together and behave good together, you know, and show up to sound check. Fuck's sakes. P.S. About the gangstalking things, I'm not going to note what occurred in my immediate reality today, but some things I was whistled at or from certain broadcast platforms about. That sentence makes sense. Were weak in nature. They started out strong. They even did something in reference to what I do to ensure that they knew that what they were saying was directed to me. They came in strong with that first part for like the first 10 seconds, and then everything kind of dropped from there. And it was kind of like, I'm not laughing at their humiliation, if you want to call it that, but like the sheer pridefulness they came in, and then defeat they felt immediately after. The whole contrast of it was kind of funny in nature. It's like a whole group got together, they made this plan to dog whistle this and that, and then after the first swing they ran out of energy. And their lack of chemistry was obvious. The thing is if you're going to create, whether it's like music, film, any type of sort of group thing that you can do with others, it's best to have your chemistry unlocked, to be comfortable with each other. And to do that, you got to spend time with each other. You got to get to know each other. If it's a big commitment where you're going to make a lot of money together, or even some money, or even have the potential of doing it, I advise not making that your sole motivation and goal. But if you do intend on doing that, people are going to want to see that you're paying attention to the details. Whether they consciously are aware of it or subconsciously, you can tell the difference. You can tell the difference between a cast of people who can work together. And it doesn't mean they all have to like each other. You know, you got to have that protagonist, antagonist energy. But they're able of working together, being comfortable around each other, And it's best to be able to do that without drugs. If you can naturally unlock a middle ground where you can be yourselves around each other, then it'll work so much better than if you're not. Especially if you're a touring musician and you're sharing a traveling space and sleeping space. You're basically roommates. Like personally, I wouldn't want to bunk with 5 other guys or however many. No. We gotta figure out a way to get me something better than this. I don't want to smell anybody. I don't want to hear you pulling your tugboat. That's your business. I like to keep my business in mind. And what I would suggest in my personal experience, if I was in this situation, I'll tell them, look, we just got to get big enough so that everybody comes to see us. Or maybe we get a bus and we go to like nearby cities, right? And we get them to meet us there. We can even set up scavenger hunts. And we'll do free flow shows as well. As in where we're not going to show up when we're contracted all of the time. The contract will detail that we're going to apply what I'll define in a moment as being a free flow show go, where we'll be so big that just even announcing we're playing a show within 10 minutes will fill whatever venue we've chosen. And this way we can ensure a better show. You know, granted we take all the personal precautions ourselves before showtime, as I've suggested, self-care and, you know, eating well and taking care. I'm getting tired. I'm a little hungry. Oh, if you want me to cross that T, you gotta smash like on that screen. That's another thing about shows, they're energy exchanges, right? Energy trades. And how well or not you guys are able to work together and be comfortable with each other. It may or may not look good on stage. Some of the bands I was watching earlier, it just looked like a lot of them were in their own world. Just locked in there, just kind of like on this roller coaster that is a stage performance together. I understand though, when you're young and going on stage, it can feel nerve-wracking. There's a lot on the line. You could get physically mobbed, or they could later gang stalk you and, you know, destabilize you, even if you're great. Like, it could hurt your reputation, but I think nowadays people are just so hungry for live performances that they'll look the other way when people aren't perfect, which I think is fine. But if you're going to charge a hefty ticket price, you better be like 88 to 99.9% perfect. That's my opinion. And I'm talking about the big prices. The big prices. Like if money was no issue, I would fuck around with all kinds of lighting. Oh my goodness. You think you've seen it all between the WWF and every rock show you've ever watched a video of or attended? My goodness, the magic and mayhem we will create on stage. But like I said, if you're going to do that with a group, and I know I didn't cross that T, maybe I'll cross it another time. If you're going to work with a group on any project, you got to be able to be comfortable with each other, and it's best to be able to do that without substance use. You shouldn't have to drink to go to band practice. Like a little bit of weed, I probably, if I was the boss, I might be okay with that, unless it did prove that it was a hindrance, which it can be if you allow it to be. You can also be productive on marijuana. It just depends. I find marijuana kind of helps you just take a step back. And I'd recommend everybody watching to wait until their brains are fully developed before experimenting with any substance, even caffeine. Yes, do your research. Thank you. Movie drop. What was it called? Eazy Rider. Eazy Rider. Check that out. There's one scene where he says if you smoke a J at the beginning of the day, you'll never look at it the same way, or something to that effect. That's basically what you got to do, and just once if you want to learn the lessons that marijuana can teach you. It's basically showing you how to take a step back and get outside of yourself. And to realize there's nothing but time, so you can just take your time. Depending on the situation, like obviously if you're in danger, you can't just dilly-dally. Or maybe you can in the Mr. Popo sense. Mr. Popo uses a zero energy waste sort of combat system where he only moves when he needs to. Seems very effective, and it might leeway to granting one the ability of dilly-dallying. Am I still going? I haven't been shut down. This is different. This is different. I am getting tired though. It's nearly 2 a.m. So let's call this part Act 3 then, because I'm going to get my electric guitar going as I put on some music, but I'm not going to be on for much longer, or at least I don't intend to. Aha. Updated time zone information. What? What does this mean? I'll get to it later. X-Men 97 season 2. I wonder, okay, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but like my favorite X-Men. All right, I'll give you a clue. Here's my other clue. Okay, one of my most favorite X-Men is likely going to be one of the 4 horsemen. I'm not certain, but that's what I gathered from the Easter eggs. X-Men 97. I wonder if they're going to activate his Forebringer abilities. Because at one time, he was using tarot cards instead of playing cards as a weapon and as a toy. Oh. Trying to remember what else he could do. Or, wait, I don't think, or maybe he will get those abilities, but he was granted those abilities from that vampire mutant. He had other ones. I think he had the ability of necromancy. Some other cool stuff too. I think he's resistant to telepathy, even from high-powered psychics like Jean Grey. Oh, actually, I might keep this here. Oh. Or no. While I warm up my voice, I'm just going to stretch out my legs and my hip with my carpet board. I'll have to put on a cover of a song in order to avoid copyright. Where are we? I Built the Sky dropped another song today. Or maybe the first new one in a while, I'm not certain. Oh, it's a whole album. Promise Me You'll Thrive. Released May 28th, 2026. I'm going to listen to it for a moment at the risk of receiving a copyright strike. And I'll get my guitar set up. I do believe that these dudes are instrumental. I'll have to listen. The first track from I Built the Sky is Promise Me You'll Thrive. Is the start of something beautiful. 1:42 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on Northern Light on TikTok. We'll hear a slight striker on YouTube in the future. I've never before heard this song yet. Whoa! These are some long socks. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Explosions in the Sky. Now it kind of reminds me of Scale the Summit. I heard something. I'll be a moment.